Nightmare in the Wood is a terrifying story that will make you shiver, and several questions will pop into your mind. The wilderness serves as a summer destination for a family that needs peaceful relaxation. The moment they begin enjoying themselves, their lives become threatened. Beyond dark hours, disturbing wilderness noises confirm their isolation. Footprints with strange forms emerge near their campsite. Whispers float above their heads, and strength drains from the family. Would they be able to deal with such terrifying encounters? Before we start, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Nightmare in the Woods tells the frightening story of a family in northern New Jersey during the summer of 1976. They wake up in a peaceful setting, only for strange and mysterious events to disrupt their tranquility. The family encounters a mysterious creature lurking in the woods, shattering their sense of safety. They experience bizarre events that challenge everything they know about reality, with each one pulling them deeper into an unexpected nightmare. Their peaceful life took a turn when they noticed a strange creature at the edge of their property. It was said to resemble Bigfoot, sparking both fear and curiosity in the family. Throughout that summer, they experienced multiple sightings and even close encounters with it. Significantly, they created a mold of its footprints, which provided concrete evidence of its presence. These eerie experiences profoundly influenced Verge. Years later, he documented them in his book, Nightmare in the Woods, offering his childhood perspective and exploring the mix of fear and wonder that came with confronting something mysterious in their backyard. As time passed, the mysterious events grew more intense. The family began waking up to discover enormous footprints in the soft ground near the woods. These prints were far more significant than any human or known animal could make, resembling a vast human foot, which left them confused and worried. One evening, as the sun set, young AH was playing in the yard and suddenly felt like he was being watched. He glanced toward the trees and saw a tall figure partly hidden in the shadows. This creature was covered in dark, matted hair, standing upright like a human, but was much larger and more intimidating. Terrified, AH raced inside, heart pounding, and recounted his experience to his parents. His parents were skeptical and tried to comfort him, suggesting it was just his imagination. However, the following day revealed evidence of something unusual. Some animal pens had been tampered with, and several chickens were missing. The sturdy latches, which required careful handling to open, were found undone, eliminating the possibility of usual animal predators. The family grew increasingly worried when one night they were startled awake by creepy cries echoing from the woods. The sound was unlike anything they had ever heard before, a mix of a howl and a scream, almost human but still mysterious. As they gathered in the living room, anxiety filled the air, and they knew their home offered little protection against whatever lurked outside. AH's father stepped cautiously into the dark forest, where the moonlight barely made it through the thick canopy. Unsettling noises had lured him from the warmth of the campfire, and each step seemed to deepen the forest silence around him. The ground was littered with broken branches, their sharp edges glistening with dew, hinting at some struggle, or perhaps a rushed escape. He crouched down to study the ground more closely and noticed a series of footprints, large and deep impressions that seemed strangely out of place in their secluded retreat. These prints didn't resemble any animal he knew. They were elongated and almost human-like, sending a chill down his spine. Despite the fear, he felt compelled to follow them, his heart pounding as the branches above creaked in the night breeze. Each twig snapping underfoot sounded like a warning, urging him to turn back. Yet, curiosity drove him on. The footprints led him further into the woods, weaving among the trees, where shadows seemed to move and whisper secrets. Suddenly, a rustling noise nearby made him halt and listen, the air heavy with tension. What, or who, was hiding just beyond his sight? The forest seemed to hold its breath, and he did too. The family spread soft soil in the often disturbed areas to collect more evidence, hoping to catch clear footprints. Their efforts paid off when they discovered a large, distinct footprint the next day. Recognizing its significance, they carefully made a plaster cast for further examination. Despite these measures, strange encounters occurred. One scary evening while the family was having dinner, a loud thud struck the house, making the walls tremble. They rushed outside to find a large rock near the foundation that hadn't been there before. As they searched the surroundings with flashlights, they briefly caught the reflection of eyes in the woods before it vanished into the darkness. These incidents had a profound impact on AH's mental state. He began experiencing nightmares, and a constant sense of fear overtook his innocence. His parents, who had always been pillars of strength, now showed signs of stress with dark circles under their eyes, from sleepless nights and whispered concerns about the safety of their home. Once warm and welcoming, the family's property now felt like there was no chance of living. The woods surrounding them, which had been a source of fun and peace, seemed threatening, potentially hiding unknown dangers. Every rustle of leaves or snapping twigs heightened their anxiety, making them fear the creature's return at any moment. Word of these strange events spread quickly through their close-knit community, causing both concern and skepticism. Some neighbors tried to be supportive, sharing their mysterious encounters, while others dismissed the stories as exaggerated. However, the Verge family had no room for doubt. The evidence was too real, but these incidents scared them. The undeniable evidence of the creature's presence turned their once peaceful home into a haunted place. Each day brought new challenges as they dealt with their unsettling reality. One evening, as darkness settled, A.H. ventured into the woods behind their home, drawn by a peculiar, deep growl echoing through the trees. Both intrigued and apprehensive, he cautiously moved toward the sound. Suddenly, a massive figure emerged from the shadows, its eyes reflecting the dim light. Frozen in shock, A.H. could only watch as the creature disappeared back into the dense woods, leaving broken branches in its wake. If you are enjoying watching this horror story, then don't forget to like and share it with your mates. This had his heart out, so he quickly returned to his house and locked himself in his room. Later in the night, his parents forced him to open the door, but the eyes of that creature had a permanent place in his mind. He was so afraid that he couldn't think of any other thing. In the following days, similar incidents occurred. The family heard heavy footsteps outside at night, and the sound of something significant pushing through the bushes. Mr. Verge again discovered large human-like footprints near the barn, deeply imprinted in the ground, suggesting the creature's considerable weight. These unsettling discoveries left the family baffled and frightened, unable to explain the creature's presence near their home. To protect themselves, the Verge family took several measures. They reinforced the barn doors and windows to deter any potential intruder. Motion-activated lights were installed around the house to illuminate any movements nearby. Additionally, they set up simple alarms using tin cans and strings to alert them to any movement near the house during the night. Despite these efforts, their unease persisted. Family members took turns staying up at night, vigilantly watching through windows for signs of movement. Conversations were kept to whispers, and every slight noise heightened their alertness. Once warm and welcoming, their home now felt like a besieged fortress. In addition, they also reinforced the livestock pens with more substantial materials and secured the locks to prevent tampering. Additionally, he set up makeshift alarms around the property using tin cans and strings to alert them if anything tried to enter the house. Despite these precautions, the creature continued to intrude. One night, the family was awakened by the sound of breaking glass. They saw a shattered window in the living room, with a large stone among the glass pieces. This alarming incident showed that the creature was aware of them and directly challenged their attempts to keep it out. Moreover, the situation took a heavy psychological toll on the family. Mrs. Verge, who once found peace in her garden, now felt anxious whenever she stepped outside. The colorful flowers she lovingly tended seemed like a distant memory, overshadowed by the constant threat looming over them. A.H., who was once a lively and outgoing boy, became so frightened that he wished to stay in his house. He doesn't dare to move or do something. The summer days, which he had expected to be full of fun and laughter, instead became filled with fear and anxiety. He stopped going to the woods where he used to explore, terrified of re-encountering the creature. His nights were tormented by vivid nightmares that left him exhausted and anxious during the day. In desperation, his family sought help from local authorities and wildlife experts, hoping someone would take their experiences seriously and offer assistance. Unfortunately, their story was met with skepticism. Without solid evidence other than a plaster cast of a footprint and their testimonies, they received little support, leaving them feeling even more isolated. As summer drew close, the creature's visits became less frequent. The nights grew quieter, and the disturbances gradually diminished. However, the damage was already done. The Verge family's sense of safety in everyday life had been shattered. The events of that summer left a lasting impact on them, changing how they perceived and interacted with the world around them. After the incident, the Verge family stayed alert, always mindful of the chance the creature might return. They were extra cautious when entering the woods and fortified their home to ensure safety. The once peaceful and secluded area now felt threatening, constantly reminding them of the terrifying events they lived through. Having grown up, A.H. Verge found it challenging to move beyond that summer. The memories haunted him, and he frequently thought about that creature and the fear it caused his family. He struggled to reconcile his normal childhood with the strange and frightening experiences he had endured. Determined to understand what happened and share his family's story, A.H. started writing about their encounters. He poured his emotions and memories into his writing, hoping for understanding and closure. Through this process, he aimed to achieve peace and perhaps help others with similar experiences. The Verge family story illustrates how the unknown can significantly affect individuals and families. It showcases people's strength when confronted with fear and underscores the necessity of seeking understanding and peace after facing challenging situations. Their journey mirrors a common quest for answers and the hope for normalcy. Ultimately, the Verge family found comfort in their shared experiences and drew strength from each other. The memories of that summer lingered, but they learned to coexist with them, moving forward and looking to the future. Their story highlights the lasting power of family bonds and the courage to tackle such situations. Truly remarkable. This was the story of the Verge family's frightening encounters with Bigfoot in northern New Jersey in the summer of 1976. Narrated by young A.H. Verge, the story takes readers on a suspenseful journey into the unknown, vividly sharing the fear and uncertainty that overwhelmed the family. These events profoundly impacted their lives, reshaping their view of the world and creating lasting memories. Nightmare in the Woods shares the unsettling story of the Verge family's encounters with Bigfoot during the summer of 1976. Told from the perspective of a young A.H. Verge, it vividly portrays the fear and uncertainty that altered their lives. This accurate tale highlights the powerful effect the unknown can have on people. If you found this story engaging, please like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Thanks for joining.